everyone, it's Kate from the Fold Line. I'm back with something a little bit different this week. We are doing an edit for wedding guest outfits. This is something that we've been asked to do loads. We've had lots of emails, people are asking on social media, so it's something that I was kind of, I guess if I'm being honest, I was putting off a bit because I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but I hope this kind of ticks a few boxes. So I'll preface this by saying I'm 40 now. I don't go to loads of weddings. I had years where I would be at a wedding nearly every weekend. I had one year where I think I had nearly 20 weddings. Last year I went to 2, so I'm going to a lot less than normal, so I don't get to see like what everyone is wearing. My takeaway from the last couple of years of weddings I've been to is that what everyone is wearing feels like it's getting a bit more casual. It's less formal than it used to be. I think that's particularly as brides are now not wearing these huge, like, you know, when I was in my 20s, they were wearing these huge kind of extravagant sort of, as you'd imagine, like traditional wedding dresses. And now everything's getting a lot more relaxed. Like I went to one last year and she was just wearing a suit. So it feels like you then have to sort of slightly assess the tone of the invite that you have got. So I was thinking, oh, I'll do it slightly more casual. Then I thought, oh, I should double check what all the shops are offering on the high street. I'll go and have a look at all, because they quite often have kind of wedding dress kind of sections. And when I went in there, it was all sort of like floor length ball gowns. And I thought, I feel like that's not like the sort of weddings that I have been invited to. So I don't know. I think I've gone down the middly, slightly more casual nod to outfit. So I hope that is okay. And I found it really difficult. I personally, as you can probably tell from what I'm wearing, I am not a dressy person. I am a tomboy through and through. So I did find this really difficult, but I think I've got some nice things. So I've tried to pick some sort of something that will tick most of the boxes, and I hope you enjoy. There will be links to all the patterns down below because I'm going to talk about quite a lot. And I've also done a blog post as well. So if you wanted to have a look at anything or the static images in a bit more detail, then head there. Let's get going. So first section, dresses, because obviously we cannot ignore that. And I thought I'd start with a wrap dress. So I tried to pick 3 different wrap dresses that had a kind of slight twist on a classic wrap, which I thought might be interesting. So the first one I've got is the Closet Core Elodie dress. I loved this and I think it's really beautiful. The thing that I particularly love about it is these big wide sleeves that it has. It's got quite a nice deep V. It feels like it would be a really comfortable thing, especially if you're going to a wedding where it's really warm. I just think it could be a really nice option. It's super chic. You'll be comfortable. That's a win for me. I think it's also, looking at the skirt, the flare on it, it's got some potential twirling power for when you're on the dance floor, which is, you know, it's always nice to have that as a little extra. Next up, we have got the Maison Fauve Soho wrap. This is really cool, this dress, actually. So there are 2 different variations. You can either have it kind of plain at the front, or you can have it kind of so that it looks like it's double-breasted with buttons, which I think is really clever. But it's got this interesting belt that kind of weaves through the dress. I was thinking you could even have the belt in a different colour. It would look quite interesting. Then we've got the paper cut Meridian, which I love this dress so much. So it has got these 2 kind of panels that almost come out from, I guess, kind of the top half of your body. If you look at the line drawing, you can see they kind of come out like this, and you wrap them around and then tie them at the back. And I just think it's a really beautiful and interesting and super chic. I was thinking if you're going to something really dressy, I think this would be a really lovely option. Of course, all of this ties in with picking the right fabric. So you want something sort of super drapey with this and it would look amazing. Then next section, I went for something simple. So if you are not into big flouncy dresses and you want to wear something that just feels like comfortable, chic, simple, not too much going on, then this section is for you. I've got 2 options. I've got the Tessuti Fabrics Alessi. This is such a lovely pattern. It's cut on the bias. It's great. I feel like this is a really good option if you're not quite sure what you're supposed to wear, because it feels like it's chic, but it's not like shouting. So I think that's really great. And the other one that I thought was really lovely is the Fibre Mood Ramona. So at the front, it looks quite similar. You know, there's not much going on, but at the back, it's got these lovely tie details, which I think are great. I've also noticed that the tie details, the bottom one would match in with where your bra is. So you can still wear a bra with it, because that is, let's be honest, for most of us, fairly essential. But yeah, those two are my kind of really nice kind of pared back looks. Then we went big sleeve, because I know lots of people like that. I know a lot of people like to wear outfits, dresses that have sleeves as well. A lot of people have kind of upper arm, you know, don't like their upper arms. Let's not even get into all the bits of our bodies, you know, that we're not happy with. When picking all of these, I try to pick sort of different silhouettes, so kind of to try and tick as many boxes for different people. So the first one is the Vicky So's Rosalind. I absolutely love this dress. I think it's beautiful. Every summer I end up kind of putting it in something, because I love it. So it's got this really nice detail around the neckline. You can see that kind of crossover detail, which I think is really beautiful. And then it's got these really nice kind of sleeves. And the thing that's really nice proportion wise is then the dress is quite fitted. So the sleeves then become the sort of main sort of statement of the garment. Next up, we've got the beautiful Silver Saga Ella dress. This is lovely. So it's got this really deep V on the front. It's quite kind of fitted in the bodice, and then it flows out from the bottom to the bottom. And then also, again, it's got these kind of big sleeves, and it looks like they've all got kind of elasticated cuffs, which is great. So you get a bit more sort of movement. I'm thinking about, you know, movement in dance floors as well, because that's, you know, that's an essential part of a wedding. And then last but not least is we've got the Penelope dress from Emporia Patterns, which is a new designer we've just got on the site. And I saw this and I thought, oh, this is such a lovely pattern. I think this would suit loads of different body shapes. And it's just got a really big statement sleeve, which was really fun. So it's got this V-neck at the front, this enormous sleeve that comes down to your elbow. And then I like that it's got kind of gathered skirt, but it's not too much flare in it. It's quite kind of tapered. It's really, really beautiful. So I thought that would be a lovely option. Then I chose Gathering, because I know that this is something that features a lot in indie patterns. It is also makes for, to be honest, let's be honest, a more comfy dress. You've got a bit more kind of fabric going on. And again, I was thinking about dancing and twirling. A lot of this has already gone into dancing and twirling. Okay, first up, we've got the Nina Lee Mariposa dress. I haven't said that out loud for a while and forgotten how to say that. I picked this because I thought it was really beautiful. Again, the neckline on this is really lovely. The interesting thing about this on the back is got this great tie detail. Again, I will note that it's bra strap friendly. And then it's got 3 kind of tiers of gathering at the bottom, which I thought is a really lovely shape. It also means you can have a bit of a play with fabric. Like, I love that kind of proportion of check that she's done, which would be really fun. But yeah, that would be like a really comfortable and great dress. The next one is the Fabric Godmother Fleur dress. This is super popular, this pattern. So you can either make it as a blouse, obviously, but we're thinking dresses. You can make it sleeveless or with a big sleeve. It's got 3 tie details down the front, and then it's got this gathered panel into a skirt. So I like this one because it's kind of understated, but there's some nice details in it. Last but not least, we've got the Puff and Pencil ruffle dress. I thought this was a really fun dress. Again, if you made this in something like a quite structured jacquard, it would look really amazing. But I think it's a really fun pattern, and if you're looking for something short, then this could be a nice option. So it's got a little bit of a ruffle. Then last but not least, in the dress sections, I went for the best sellers. So these are tried and tested patterns by the community, the ones that you guys absolutely love. Because I figure if you guys love them, then everyone's going to love them. So the 3 patterns I've got is the Fabric Godmother Peony dress. This dress is so beautiful. I love this. It came out, I think, maybe not last summer, but the summer before, and everyone went nuts for it, and it's just great. Heavily inspired by the Vampire's Wife dress that was very iconic and everyone was wearing, all the celebrities were wearing. But yeah, so it's kind of, you can either make it with a shift with this little kind of detail on the sleeve, or you can make it slightly longer. Again, it's got a kind of gathered panel at the bottom. It's really, really great. The next one is the Sicily slip dress from Maison. This has been so popular, and if you wanted something super like bias and made in something kind of beautiful silky fabric, then this one is definitely worth checking out. And then last but not least, which probably is one of the longest running patterns ever, it's the named kilo wrap. This has been around for ages. So this is a jersey pattern, I will say. I think you could totally wear this to a wedding. It's got these long panels that kind of wrap around, and it's such a fun pattern. If you haven't made it before, definitely go and have a look at it, because when you start kind of seeing all the shapes, it's actually really simple to make as well. It's a fab one, so definitely go and have a look at that. But yeah, those are from my bestseller department. Then I moved on to jumpsuits, because I love wearing a jumpsuit to a wedding. It feels a little, I don't know why, it just feels a bit naughty that you are tricking everyone and wearing trousers that looks a bit like a dress. So I've got 3 options. I wanted to pick ones that felt quite different. The Vogue V9259, if you want to go full statement. So it's got this lovely crossover detail on the top, and then these enormous palazzo trousers. I mean, you really can hardly tell actually that you're wearing a jumpsuit rather than a dress, because there's so much in the trouser legs, which is great. Then I chose the So Love Springe dress, because I thought this was really lovely detail. It had a kind of that kind of curve underneath the bust, which feels like kind of quite 1940s. The legs are cut quite wide, which is very much in at the moment. But yeah, I thought that would be nice if you wanted also something with a little bit of sleeve. That is there for you. And then last but not least is the True Bias Darla. I love this. This is a dress and a jumpsuit as well, so that you could make the dress or the jumpsuit. It looks like there's a variation that looks very simple on the front, but it's got this lovely kind of detail on the back, which I will show you, which I think really adds to the dress. But yeah, I thought that one was quite simple and nice, and I think you'd feel really comfortable in that. So then we moved on to tailoring, because I know that a lot of people now, which I love, are wearing suits to weddings, which the last one I went to, I wore a suit, and it felt so much more comfortable. It just felt great. So I've got 3 different options. The first one is the Vicky So's Nancy jacket and Daphne trousers. So they're both from Vicky So's. I picked this because I loved that sort of boxy, oversized jacket, but it's really cropped. I thought it was quite interesting proportion-wise with the kind of wide leg trousers, and I feel like that's a really chic outfit. Then I chose the Maison Fauve Mimosa jacket with the Grand Band shorts. Apologies for pronunciation. I thought this was really fun, like a double-breasted jacket with a pair of shorts. I think you've got to make sure that you pick really appropriate fabric with the shorts, and make sure that they're not too short. But I thought this would work really nicely for wedding, particularly if you're like going abroad. This would feel like a really like fun, chic outfit. And last but not least, if you want something kind of more classic, the Nina Lee Richmond blazer with her Portobello trousers. I think that's a really nice, if you want to make a full suit, I think you're in very safe hands with her, and that's a really great pattern. So next up in the tailoring department, we have got a waistcoat with a pair of wide-legged trousers. I thought this would work really nicely for a slightly more casual wedding, and I think it looks really great. So you can see that the waistcoat that they've got nothing underneath it, and I think that looks really chic. So this is the Puff and Pencil waistcoat. Now I picked this one because there are a few to pick from, but I picked this one because it is it's much more fitted than some of the other waistcoats that were available, and I feel like you sort of need that to wear the wide leg trouser in a sort of wedding setup. So that's for your top. The bottom, there are 2 different options. So you can either choose the Style Arc Atlas trousers. Obviously you can pick whatever you like, but these are what I've chosen, which are so interesting. If you haven't seen them, they've got these interesting pleats that are sort of stitched. They start this way up the leg, and then they sort of turn and they're stitched down in the other direction. So they create this kind of lovely wave. And I thought that those would work really nicely with that waistcoat. And if you want something really wide leg and full length, this one is definitely a good option. And then I picked the Merchant of Mills Juno, because I thought they were proportionally, they're really wide, but they're also cropped. And I love a kind of cropped pair of wide trousers with a heel. I think it looks really nice. So I thought that would work also really nicely with the waistcoat. Then our last section is the Co-ords. So I've picked some Co-ord sets that you can buy as like one, you know, the designer have put them together. And I have done one section where you can create your own. So let's start with the Co-ord set. The first one is the BF pattern Selena. I adore this. I think it's great. So it's a 2-piece. You can also make it into a 1-piece by stitching literally a little kind of bit at the front. You can see at the center front, you can stitch those bits together to make it into a dress, or you can wear it as 2 different pieces. I think this would be great if you're going to be someone really warm for a wedding. This would be a really nice option. It would be really comfortable, and it feels really fun. I like the idea you could also, if you weren't making this for a wedding, you can make it in different colours, like the top and the bottom. So it feels like a really nice casual option. The chalk and notch ivy I thought would work also really nicely as a wedding option. It's got this lovely kind of detail, kind of low cut at the front, big sleeves, and then it's got elastic at the bottom of the top, and then elastic at the top of the skirt, so it'll be really comfortable. But I figured that would be a really nice option as well for a wedding. And then last but not least is the Friday Pattern Company Saturday skirt set. I thought this would be quite a fun option. A super simple skirt shape, and then this kind of shirt that ties at the front. I thought that would be a really good option as well. So those are my Co-ord sets. Now, this last section I did because I kind of wanted to create loads and loads of different Co-ord options. And I did it partly because I quite like the idea of, you probably own quite a lot of patterns, and it's quite nice to look at what you have and think about how you could put pieces together as a full outfit. So I'm imagining that these items I show you are made in all the same fabric. Well, not all of them, but some of them, 2 of them made in the same fabric, so they look like one full kind of, almost like one, like a Co-ord. But it's quite interesting to sort of look at your patterns in a different way. And I encourage you to get them all out and see what goes together. You might be able to make something from what you have already, which is always great. So this was just like a little bit of fun, sort of, I guess, inspiration. So first up, we've got this super lovely little Chanel inspired jacket from Bella Loves. It's called the Freddie jacket. Super simple, super chic. Buttons down the front. You could make this in loads of different fabrics, but I'm imagining that you're going to make it in the same fabric as the skirt, which is the Tilly and the Buttons Ramona. I picked this because I really like the little pocket details on the front. I felt that was really fun. And then you could wear something really simple top-wise. You could have just a little kind of, like the Sew Over at Emily that's next door. You could wear something like that, or whatever you like. But I thought that would be a really nice little kind of like suit option. I know a lot of people will feel like sometimes they can't wear trousers to weddings, but I feel like these are so fun. They would work perfectly. So the McCall 7937, they're really beautiful. They've got this little ruffle at the bottom. I think you could wear this with something super simple. The Sew Over at Emily feels like a really nice option. There's a cropped variation, so I was thinking that sort of cropped variation. And actually the colours look really nice, that kind of green and the pink, but you could make it all in one colour, or you could have it in different colours. But I think that would be a really nice outfit. And then last but not least, I love this as an outfit, the Fibre Mood Abina top with the Maker's Atelier maxi. Now imagine those together in the same fabric. That would look like such a chic outfit to wear to a wedding. It feels like, yeah, it's just, I like the simplicity of the 2 of them, but I like the proportions of that cropped boxy top with the fitted skirt. I think looks really nice. So I encourage you to go and have a look at what you've got, or I hope it's kind of inspired you to think about what you could wear to a wedding slightly differently, or you found a pattern that you're like, oh yes, that's the perfect thing. Yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I'll be back soon with another video. Have a lovely rest of your weekend. Bye.